This podcast is just fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research.
What are we like?
Welcome to
the
show. That was the most organized we've been in a
That was a good one.
That was nice.
I decided to be calm
solid.
today.
Have you listened
probably
to
why.
the episode where you weren't on yet?
I made it through like 80% of it.
Did you hear how chaotic the intro was?
Yes, it was
great.
fantastic.
These two hooligans didn't even need
I
to be
have.
crazy.
I know. I've done
did it
such a
in your
good job
honor.
of like setting up like how to ruin it each time that now you don't know how to counter it when I'm not there, but you're trying to.
Well, and it's funny because we do the welcome to the show, and like if you're not here, we don't think ahead of time.
Right.
Like,
No.
who's gonna say
Who's
it?
gonna
Like,
say
oh, no.
it?
You know?
Yeah.
So we just go for it.
I tried.
goes
Yeah,
wild.
no.
It was great.
That's great.
All or
Made
nothing,
me
all
happy.
the time.
I laughed real hard.
Yeah.
We did just get done recording our Patreon content for this week. Yeah, guys, we're starting a Patreon.
Hey.
You can wait for that.
Can I?
We on the
Sounded like he was
Patreon.
flicking a lighter.
On the Patreon, we tried out the Insane Labs new hot honey, and we tried out their new Eat the Dead Death sauce, which is actually really hot. Their hot honey, spoiler alert, might be one of the best hot honeys I've ever had.
That
It is
was good.
really good.
I'm
hot honey.
going to be ordering
Genuinely
some of
good
is that
hot honey.
is that something that you won?
I
in
have
the contest?
all
they
of
sent you, or did you buy it?
all of the hot sauces I have won from their lives. All of them.
So nice.
I haven't had to buy a hot sauce yet. It's pretty funny.
You went on a
Oh,
winning
yeah, I won,
streak for years.
Demented
Oh yeah.
dust.
You went on
I won one of
a
those,
winning
too.
streak for years when it came to disc golf, like disc golf giveaways, and now it is transferring over to Insane Labs. Where I'm like, are they sending you this stuff? Like, I've had 3 Insane Labs packages on my doorstep this week, and I'm like, I don't know what all of this is.
So it got to the point with discs. She thought I was lying about winning the
Yeah.
discs. I had to start proving. Here's the thing I entered.
He's like,
And
I have a screenshot.
so Jonathan, my buddy Jonathan, I guarantee he listens to this. When he does, he's gonna laugh. Shoot me a message when you hear this, Jonathan. But one time we were at a conference and Jonathan was like, "Hey, did you enter that giveaway?" And I was like, "Oh no, I was like, I don't want to win it. Like I feel like I legit was like I win too many of these, and it's getting to the point where I'm feeling guilty.
You sound so
like,
cocky.
I sounds cocky. I genuinely, and I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and enter it. And I entered it. And then like an hour later when they did the drawing, Jonathan was like, I hate you. I hate you so much. And I was like, what? And I look it up, and sure enough, I won. And I was like, oh my gosh. I literally wasn't going to enter because I was afraid, because I didn't want to win it.
They called you out during a live disc golf tournament. And they're like, I'm supposed to mention the name Tanner Sherlock. He won our contest.
Yeah.
I was like,
For the birdie.
we were just
board game.
watching. Well, you had disc golf on, and then all
Yeah,
of
it
a
was-
sudden I'm hearing my husband's name on national coverage. I'm like, what
National
is
Disc Golf.
this?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a family. I win stuff all the time too. But you know what? I haven't won anything on Insane Lab stuff. But I've been on
we
there
should
as
get a
much as
try
you.
hard. See, I live by
I'm
the
not on
reverse
very
jinx.
often, but-
I live by the reverse jinx. So you can't be like, I'm definitely going to win this one, because you never do.
Right.
You have to say, I'm never going to win, or I
that's-
absolutely will not win this one.
Yeah.
And you have to state it.
Negativity.
Because then
That's
the
my
reverse
style.
jinx is like, oh, this guy? Oh yeah, we'll give it him. And then the algorithm's like, this guy never wins. We'll make sure he wins.
Yeah, I win all the time. I have a
Reverse
I have
jinx.
I have
Wow.
like a laptop I won. I've got like all kinds of stuff that I've won. At
I don't really win
conferences.
big things. I win more like $20 things a lot of
Yeah,
times.
I went got a lot of gift cards here and there.
I
don't win the big stuff.
I won a bicycle from the bike rodeo when I was like,
Nice.
8. That's it.
So-
That's like the only thing I've ever
I want
won.
a giant
Hypothetical.
teddy bear.
Would you rather win one prize valued at $10,000,
Oh yeah.
or would you rather win let's say 100 prizes rated at $100. That'd be equal, right? 1, 2, math.
Yeah.
Yes. What would you rather win?
I'll take the $10,000 prize.
I'll take the big prize.
Yeah.
Because the $100, I can afford $100. I could pay for something that's $100.
Right.
I'd rather win the big one time.
Well, and then sometimes
so
it's that thing that you wouldn't have bought.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that laptop that I got, I don't think I would have just outright bought that.
Right.
It would have been a finance thing and everything else. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Whereas discs, like I mean, you can see, whoa, I won
You have a couple.
50 discs. You know,
have a
whatever.
couple discs.
Anyway, all right.
I want a new zoom lens for my camera.
Yeah, if somebody wants to donate that.
Yeah,
to
it's
the-
only
the
$2,000,
pod.
guys.
But yeah, Patreon. Details will be coming out. You guys can subscribe, and when you do, there'll be a few. Well, I don't know. Like each week, we're planning on doing like the behind the scenes conversation. It's just a lot more casual, a lot less structured, that kind of stuff. And we've got a few things we're going to continue to roll out. Mike was talking of doing like live gyms. So we'll go live while we're working out, talk Q&A, that kind of stuff.
Gym sessions, not a
Gym
bunch of people
sessions.
named Jim.
That would be cool
That
too.
would be, if we could find enough
Let's do a
gyms.
gym session.
Do we have any gyms?
Yes. If your name
Do
is
a
Jim and
call
you would
for
like to be
gyms.
on our
Have you
gym
seen
session,
videos of that where it's
Patreon.
like tall people meet up or
Gyms,
like
James,
Kevin meetups?
Jameson.
It's just
Yes.
like big social events. Where,
I tried
Anyways,
to add. Have you ever seen the people who add people that have the exact same name as them on Facebook?
I know
and
that
agree
you
to
do that.
I tried, but there's only one other person with the same first and last name as me.
Yeah.
And when I tried to add him, he thought I was
He's
stealing his
spam.
profile, and
Yeah.
so he reported
Dude,
me.
so I ran into
one guy on
another
Earth.
wrestling dad. Like when my boys were wrestling, another wrestling dad. We have the same first, middle, and last name, and we're the same age.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but
And our birthdays
hold
are
on.
only like
Well, I
3
would say
months apart.
statistically, your first, middle, last.
Middle,
that-
not so much.
Middle, not so much. But I would still say your full name
Yeah.
is still. I mean, each of your names is common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Michael, yes.
So if you
Yeah.
wanted
Yes.
to,
The most popular last name
Okay.
in
if
America.
you want to decode what my full name is, like my first name is the most common name. Actually, it's number 2 now. I think.
Is it?
I don't think
Oh,
it's number
man.
1 anymore.
Okay,
My last name is the number 1 Mexican American name.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh yeah.
And
That
somebody
was
just figured out your name and they're going to dox you.
I
They can't dox me. They're going to dox
Mom-
the other 10,000.
They're going to dox
same name.
one of the other 15 in the same town as you live in.
Mom, correct me if I get this story wrong, but I got a crazy one like that. So my dad shared the first and last name of 2 other people who were in like kind of neighboring towns. Like
Yeah.
one was like 50 minutes north, and one was like half an hour south. And they were all married to a woman with the same name as well.
no.
And so their mail used to get mixed up frequently.
goodness.
Like it was insane.
That's
like
funny.
the coincidence like that. There was also at one point 4 people in 3 houses in a row that had the same birthday.
Oh,
My
nice.
dad had the same birthday as a lady on one side of us, and then lady and her daughter both had the same birthday.
So you just have
on the
like a
other
block
side. So
party. Like,
Yeah, dude,
didn't-
that would be so sick.
See, when we talk about the
Birthday party!
the weird cloning thing, and like the weird coincidences, and
Right.
things, they seem
like the Anne
so
Hathaway thing.
like
yeah.
they seem so like
Well, like
separate, but it does happen. Like it's
it's just Matrix coders being lazy.
Shout out to the Matrix episodes because we live in a simulation.
Right.
Well, you think
Co-
about it.
Coder
So
was just
how many
like,
people are on the
three,
planet,
three.
and there are only 365 days in the year. So you do the math. There's a
Right.
lot of people that have the same birthday.
So but
Yes,
what's weird
but what
though,
are the odds of them like
All
being
congregating.
together?
so okay, something even maybe even weirder than maybe not weirder,
I don't
but
think
just
I've
as
ever
odd as
met
that
anyone
is
who had
that
the same
my
birthday
birthday.
as me.
I have only met like one other person in real life who has the same birthday as me.
I don't think
Yeah,
I know
which
anyone.
is weird.
Which is
I know
really
someone
weird.
who's one
In
day
school-
off, but never
My-
I've never had
in-
someone who's the same
in
birthday.
school. Nobody was even like one day before, one day after. But my birthday, there was like nobody. Like I've never like I don't know.
I don't know
anybody
if I
has
ever
my birthday, which
re-
is crazy.
I don't know if I ever really grasped how crazy it is. My first cousin, my mom's older sister's son, was born like 17 hours before me.
Nice.
yeah.
We were born almost the same day.
Yeah.
like within a day.
So think
He's-
about that. Wrap your mind around this. So 365 days
crazy.
a year. If you
Yeah.
have 10,000 people in your town, that means what? There's at least 30 people in your town
Right.
mathematically that should have the same birthday.
Mathematically,
in
yeah.
your town, there
Yeah.
should be 30 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Hey, talking about, so I was hanging out at CSU one time.
Can we open our drinks?
Please.
I really want to drink some.
This goes with exactly what Phil was talking
Okay,
about.
well then continue.
No,
continue.
too late. You don't get your story now.
Mine's
Okay,
already
fine.
open.
Oh, wait, I know. I still want to hear the story. I just wanted you to wait. 3, 2, 1, go. That was cool. That was like reverberant.
I feel like I did a
reverb.
much better that time.
Imagine if we had the sound like where, you know, when you listen to the TikToks and they have it going like back and forth between.
Oh, there it
two
is.
earbuds.
You see? See?
Yeah.
Imagine if we had the surround sound.
Oh, that would be so
That would
cool.
be dope.
Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah,
Right?
it's Monster Zero Energy strawberry shot. It just tastes like Monster Zero, and then like 5 seconds after you take the drink, there's just like this. Somebody
breath of
whispered
strawberry.
Somebody whispered in your ear,
Strawberry.
and you're like, "Oh, there it is."
It's so weird. I don't know how they did that.
Yep, because it's like
It's just monster. And then strawberry.
You know what I
and
think?
there was a strawberry right there. Literally. Okay, I'm taking a drink. In real time. I just took the drink. There was a strawberry. It's very distinct. It's like you can taste the moment it hits.
It's so weird.
This is do you want to try it? I've had a weird cough for like a month, but
I'll get my own.
Okay.
Eventually.
Yeah.
when I
Dude,
see
it's
one.
such
I've
a
never seen
weird-
that kind before.
I
is
ran into it on the
weird.
way back when we went to Denver for the Nuggets game.
strawberry shot Monster Zero.
You know what I think our TikTok needs?
What?
A can crack compilation.
That would be a good idea.
That's almost harder to say than crane.
Crane cracking.
Competition.
Crane
cracking competition.
competition.
We have a TikTok.
Competition compilation.
We have a TikTok that's somewhat kind of going viral, like semi-viral right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, tell your CSU story.
Yes,
What?
you were at
I don't know what
CSU.
you're talking about.
You were at CSU.
I'm just kidding. I'm playing hard.
You went to CSU and went to college.
So when I was at CSU in college,
Forrest.
we were hanging out, and it was just a bunch of us hanging out. And we started talking about where we were born, and some people were like, "You're from Nebraska," and I said, "Well, I was born here in Fort Collins." You know, and then one of the girls that was hanging out, she said, "Me too, me too." And so we have the exact same birthday. And so we got on the phone and called our parents and we're like doing some research. We were actually born, and we met in college at this little get together. Like I didn't know who she was. And started doing a little research. We were born on the same floor at Poudre Valley Hospital. The same day, like within a few hours of each other.
That's nuts.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That is weird. Huh?
Wow.
Phil laughing at Poudre Valley.
Pooter.
I'm sorry.
I would say, having made fun of that my whole life, I didn't even catch it until you laughed, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a funny term." But yeah,
PV8.
that is crazy.
Poudre Valley
That's wild. That is wild.
My goodness.
Have you seen we got to do our Bigfoot affirmation.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But did you see that there was a case of IVF that they accidentally fertilized with the wrong embryo, and it's a white couple, and they had a dark-skinned baby, and they're like, what do we do? Because it's IVF, so like they
You can't do that. I mean, it's a thing now.
Yeah,
As a human now.
and they're like, obviously they sued the hospital and they're getting as much money as they desire, but their concern is like, well, legally, do the actual biological parents have rights?
Yeah.
And where's their kid? Do they have rights over biologically the possibility
Right.
of somebody else having been mixed
And
up?
has this happened before? Like, they
And
were all the same skin color.
Wild cases.
That's
Wild.
nuts.
Okay. Our Bigfoot affirmation is number 23. You are more legendary than you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great spot for the intro song.
Yay! But yeah,
He's not going to put it there just because I did.
and I'm going to put it right here.
Ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
Okay, but yeah, check out the Patreon. It is a charge, but we've all talked about it on the podcast, and like our mindset is we want to build the brand and build the podcast. So any money that comes in is going to be invested back into the podcast to just make it better. So if you are one of the early subscribers to Patreon, most likely your money is going to go towards getting us video. So if you want video from us, subscribe to the Patreon. It's going to be like probably $3.99 or something like that. It's going to be a small dollar amount. I have to figure out what the like normal rates are for stuff like this. It's going to be a very tiny dollar amount that like literally one coffee per month equivalent. And you'll get the episodes as soon as I get done recording them, extra content, that kind of stuff. And then eventually there'll be more tiers when we start adding merch and stuff like that. But, again, the early investors into Patreon, eventually that money will go towards things like getting our merch orders so that we don't have to, so that we can get bigger merch orders so that we can have merch on hand to sell and to give away to Patreon people as well. So with that, go check out our Patreon.
Does that mean you're actually going to clean your office?
It's kind of the charm now to like leave
Maybe.
it like this.
No, I do.
Something
I actually
tells
do.
me
To the charm. Of
that our genre is getting ready to get a bit bigger due to
Oh, yeah. I was
current
just thinking of
events.
this. Yeah.
I hate to say that
We're going to talk about it this
Okay.
episode because it's the elephant in the room right now.
You built the
when you talking
on-ramp.
about the baby thing. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
I got really sad for a
So we're going to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it quite yet. But we are going to talk about it this episode.
couple exits later. That's okay.
Yeah.
I built all the on-ramps. That's what I do.
And then we just ramp off of them.
Here's the thing. All of that stuff is. Yeah, we'll get to it. First things, we wanted to talk about some current events. Oh yeah, I want to shout out. I do want to give these guys a shout out. We shout them out a lot. I'm becoming decent friends with them, and so I like their product. I like what they do. I like what they stand for. They're Christians as well. They have horror themed supplement brand, but
Right.
Like we have conversations about God and stuff like that with them. They're actually going to launch their own podcast here pretty soon. They were kind of inspired by what we do, and so Insane Labs, Dustin and Dalton, the owner and CEO and COO of Insane Labs, they're going to start a podcast.
Awesome.
And so what we're going to
I had
do
not heard
is
this yet.
because we've been talking about bringing them on the podcast. What we're going to do is we're going to swaps. And so they're going to bring me, whoever on, and then they'll come on our show to promo their podcast eventually. Ooh. And so be on the lookout for that. It's going to, they're going to do
amazing.
like some of the stuff that like we would never really do, but like adjacent to what we do. Mm-hmm. So like they were talking about
too with like their chemical stuff with their, pre-workout and things like that. They talked about doing some of that too. And
yeah, they're gonna
everything does, and
they're gonna dive way deeper into the gym world than we do on this show. So if you're one of our gym guys, you're gonna love that show.
I would get lost in that.
But they're also like their first episode. They said they were gonna talk about like the history of clowns.
Oh yeah, cool.
That's something we're never gonna touch on this show.
Why not?
But because I don't care about it.
We're all kind of clowns, so no.
Dude,
if there was a killer clown conspiracy theory, we would touch that.
there probably is. Let's be real. There probably is.
There probably is.
They can become the experts on that, and then they can do a special episode with us
exactly.
for that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, so be looking out for that.
Those guys are dope, and I love
awesome.
the fact that their pre-workout makes me feel like my face is going to crawl away if I don't lift heavy objects. So
Yep. They got some good stuff. Their stuff, it's legit. And I always say I'm going to promo their TikTok stuff because, like I said, I've won has to be like $150 worth of their stuff from
gotta
their
remember to order
giveaways
some
in the last
honey
5
and
months.
protein tonight.
Okay. Anyway. Also, yeah, their protein. Get their protein from their TikTok when it goes, because they do sales on it, and you can get like 60 servings for like $50, which is super cheap for a 60 serving of protein, and it's good quality stuff. Anyway, I'm giving them way more airtime, but we were going to talk about current events. Have you guys seen the trash piling up in New York?
Oh, I thought you meant in this office. No.
Why do you always bring it back to the office?
What?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. That
was-
that was
That was pretty good.
I was
Well
actually
played.
like
That was good.
looking at it when you said that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah.
New York.
Are we
Go
in
ahead.
New York?
New-
She says
It's not even trash.
New York.
It's just it's Chi Alpha stuff.
New York.
There's 2 bags of cans right here.
But it's not trash.
No dying. No dying.
It is. It's not just trash all over the place.
It's not
in
just.
bags.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Anyway,
Nope.
move on. Stop it. I'm just
Patreon
gonna delete
content.
it anyway.
The trash has been piling up in New York for like 100 years, 150 years.
No.
They called it New York
Okay,
City.
so
No.
what is
Like
this?
they literally have
talking about.
trash mounds because
Like-
Mamdani has been overhauling everything, and right now, and one of the ways that he's wanting to save money is they only pick up trash like once every few weeks or something like that. So there's like literal just mounds, like 7-8 feet tall mounds of trash gathered.
Where's he
in
from
New York.
again?
I think from New York. So that'll let's just
man.
let's
That
just
came across my
let's just
words.
transition. Let's just transition because you guys want to talk about it so bad. Have you seen
I didn't say anything.
the links? He did. Hey, have you seen the links to Mamdani in the files that recently were released?
No.
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw a picture.
So apparently, he grew up pretty close to the Jeffrey Einstein estate. His mom was a frequenter on the island, apparently, according to the files that were released. But he claimed he was a nobody from nowhere that wasn't connected to anybody elite. He was just one of them. And that was what he ran on. And apparently, no, he's from the elite ring, which is wild.
Politician lied.
Which is wild. Well, but like,
Outrage.
I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
I know.
you know, what's her bucket?
That's not to minimize it.
Okay, Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were
Like-
going to talk about Miss Rachel.
No.
I did see that too. That's been a couple weeks. I saw that.
What is it? What's her the initial AOC? There we go.
Yeah.
She like legit was just like a bartender and stuff, but she still came from like wealthy families. But it's like,
She's also insane.
but it's still like equivalent. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if you know what I'm saying? Like, you did work, and so you are kind of a working class, so it makes sense that we would vote you in as a working class person because you have that experience, even though you came from wealth. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas Mamdani's not that. He's been wealthy. He's always been wealthy.
Donnie.
No, I said Mamdani.
Oh.
He's been wealthy. He's always been wealthy, and not only that, but he's from like the inner circle wealthy. But anyway, so we are going to touch on it, the elephant in the room. I feel like we almost at this point we have to talk about the Jeffrey Einstein list, because for two reasons. One, it's everywhere, and two, I want to control what we say when we do say it, because it is so dark that we've alluded to stuff from the Einstein list, stuff that's been released. We've alluded to it in the past on the show, and even that allusion, I even pre-warned and said, hey, if you know what this is, you know. If you don't go searching. It's too dark. And a lot of stuff from the Einstein list has confirmed all of that stuff from the past that we've talked about. And it's wild to me that, you know, somebody joked that we as a society somewhat owe an apology to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Because
I've seen a few people say that.
and he's been on a few shows afterwards, and he's just like sharing. He's like, yeah, so I got that information from this person who got it from, because now he can share it.
Yep.
He's like, I got it from this person who worked in the inner CIA, who was this person. And it's like, you actually did get your information from an inside source. That's wild, because back then it was like, I know someone who's on the inside, and that's pretty good. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I know somebody on the inside, and when you find out who he is, you're gonna
A little more husk.
Oh yeah.
You're good. You're doing good. I'm just trying to coach perfection.
And when you find out, they're turning the frogs gay.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. You had sources that are the same sources that are being outed in these files now.
It's
so dark.
I've seen
my God.
I've seen a few people that have been on the conspiracy theories culture for a while, being like, okay, some of that stuff, like, I'm even surprised that I got right. Like, we were kidding about some of the. Can we stop? Like, we got to stop. People have been like, okay, at this point, we're like speaking it into existence. Like, I gotta stop talking about this.
And we only have half of the files.
I know it's insane how much there is still to be uncovered. But
one thing,
it's vindicating a whole lot of people who have been saying a lot of this stuff for a long time, and people call you crazy, and people are like, you just
Your reputation's
seeing stuff.
ruined.
Everybody hates on just like believing that bad things can be orchestrated by people, like this stuff, like that level of dark stuff.
So I took the files and I saved them as a zip file, and I then copied that file and then uploaded it to my ChatGPT and told it to only give me information from this file. Don't search the internet. Only show me things from this file when I ask from them, and basically turn my ChatGPT into a search engine so that it can look through it, so that I'm not So, because two things I've noticed. One thing, there's a lot of editing of documents, both from the DOJ and from news outlets trying to frame people in gotcha things. And like, I'm just saying, like, the information's out there, and posting manipulated documents in this is disgusting. Like, you are part of the problem. We're trying to get to the bottom of the truth, and you're now manipulating the facts in order to produce your agenda. Stop it. So I did that so that I could prove and find documents and make sure that I had unedited versions. And so that when I do look stuff up, I'm looking it up from the actual document, not from the internet. And so far, I've already found quite a few different cases where somebody took a document and added their own words at the bottom, or copied and then cut out the part where the DOJ talked about this is why this wasn't valid and stuff like that.
It makes it super obvious that the media and the reporting and everything else is super one-sided and they've already made up their mind before it even came out. Because there's a lot of things that I've seen similar to that, where I see something and somebody looks guilty or somebody looks innocent, and I've thrown it in my ChatGPT and just said, hey, look at this. Is this legit?
Right.
And I haven't found one yet that came from the media that was legit. My ChatGPT straight up says, no, this is unfounded. This isn't true. This isn't what it says. Here's what it actually says in the file. And it'll correct it. And so I've been putting everything in there, and I have yet, from either side, left or right or in between, I haven't found a single one yet that was shared on any kind of media platform that I've seen
trying to spin it.
that is the actual file. Every one of them that I've put in there, and it's maybe like a dozen or so. It's not crazy, but every single one that I'm like, where I'm like, man, this is I didn't expect that, and I'll put it in. They're like, no, that's not what it says.
Yeah.
And then it corrects it, and I'm like, why? Why? I just
Well, and it's so
makes you
gross
not want to
because
trust any media outlet.
you agreed.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's
at
so
all.
disgusting because it's like the acts that were committed that are documented in that are horrific enough that it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to put a spin on it. And
Right.
if you are trying to use any of that to gain anything or do anything other than just put the truth out there
Yeah.
for justice to be done, then you're a piece of crap.
And here's-
that's
Well, and,
just
like,
bottom line.
At what
You
point is
suck
it
for that.
defamation, libel, like putting those like
Yeah, when you manipulate
manufacturing,
Well, and the-
manipulating those
the other
documents,
side
like
of that-
where's the accountability for that?
It's so dark and nefarious in places that a lot of the files, really, there isn't a whole lot to them.
Yeah, 'cause
there's a
they-
lot of files that are just straight up emails back and forth that have nothing to do with anything, but because we are expecting them to be so nefarious,
Yeah.
we start trying to like code things and, oh, this is what he meant, and this is a code word for this and a code word for that.
Yeah.
And some of it's not. Some of it is it's just such a huge, just thrown together mess of a file.
It is.
But in between there is some crazy,
Yeah.
stuff. But in between the craziness is stuff that's not that crazy that we're trying to make
There's 3
crazy.
million. Yeah, there's
You know,
3 million
so
documents.
It's just,
If even
like we always say,
100,000 of them are
do your
nefarious.
own research. Don't,
Yeah.
you know, if you're curious about, you read something and you're curious about if it's true or not, or if it's, you
Right.
know, legit, you know, do your own research, figure out if it's legit or not.
But even
So-
plugging that stuff into AI, I'm like, how reliable is
That's the thing,
you know?
too,
Right.
It's like, oh well, AI said this, and then
Yeah.
it's not
And that's
true.
why I
and
saved
I'm
a
like,
separate
but
copy.
that's AI's interpretation of it.
That's why I saved a separate copy
Yeah.
so that I can ask it where it is.
Because
and
no
then I
one's
can
going to be
find
able
it
to
for
go through
myself.
3 million documents.
No, they figured it. Somebody went through and calculated it, what it would take for one person just to read all the documents, and it was like 3,000 lifetimes or something like that. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a ridiculous
exhausting.
amount. Okay, so there's two. So I think I came to the conclusion, like, I don't even want to talk about the details of the Einstein
Yeah,
files.
agreed.
Because for one, I've already done all this research. I already found all this stuff out. All this is doing is like reconfirming what we already knew from the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Some people even longer. Kudos to you if you went down that rabbit hole before we did. But and so we don't even need to talk about the content. I want to talk about a couple of fun conspiracy theory things surrounding it that's that I think would be entertaining. So the first thing I want to talk about,
You found something fun with the?
I know.
Yes.
I'm like,
excited.
what is
it's
gonna be
fun, but also it's not fun. Okay, the
I
first thing,
understand. Go ahead.
the first thing is very much not fun. So have you seen the stuff about Hillary Clinton wanting all of a sudden, she wants everything to be a public trial thing, a deposition? Have you seen that?
No.
So originally they subpoenaed, or they told them to come to the House committee for a closed session. They didn't show up. They then had they had to subpoena them. So they now are legally required. They missed that one. And so now it's like, okay, if you don't come, you will go to jail. And so then in response, for a closed setting, then Hillary was like, I'll come, but only if it's a public deposition. So then now everybody's like, see, she's wanting to be transparent. She wants all the details out there. Well, I was looking at the difference between a closed door and an open public deposition. Yeah, there's pretty obvious reasons why she wants it open. So in a closed deposition, it can be 12 to 24 hours, and lawyers are investigating you and grilling you, and you have to long answer whatever they ask. Open door, each senator gets five minutes, and it's senators, not lawyers. So each of the senators gets 5 minutes to ask you questions, and you then get a short response. And so the responses, you can curate the responses to be nice short clip snippet responses. And you also have half of the senators who are probably on your side, half who are actually trying to gotcha. And so you end up with this weird montage. That's where we get all these weird clips of like, you were trying to do this, and then
We see those
answer
clips all the
something.
time.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody's
So that's open.
Yeah.
That's open. The closed one is actual lawyers, actual investigation. And so
Why is she able to even negotiate to get the setting that
two
she
things.
wants?
Exactly. She
No
can't.
one's above the law.
She can't. But she knows what it looks like optic wise. Yeah. And she knows that if they say no, then all of a sudden it looks like they're trying to hide something. But the reality is she's wanting the closed door deposition so she doesn't have to actually answer to lawyers. So she gets half of the people who are asking her questions guaranteed to be on her side.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy what just a little bit of looking into it.
Well, and even like the
reveals.
wording of things. Like I compare it to like when you see like a truck commercial. This is kind of oversimplifying it, but you see a truck commercial and it says military grade. Military grade means it means it's a
Lowest
shell and a
bidder.
That's all that means. But they'll put military grade.
It means
Or when
it works.
you see like this might make some people mad, but anytime you see GMO stuff like genetically modified, I don't like my food genetically. I like my food genetically modified.
Same.
That means they cared. That means they cared about it. They cared enough about it to make sure the genetics are in order when they breed the animals and things.
I like my food genetically modified, to the point where corn isn't the size of like a small little finger. I like that. I don't like it when all of a sudden watermelons no longer have seeds and they're giant
like
and they
stretchy.
are tasteless.
Have you seen the stretchy watermelon?
But
that
there's
makes
more
sense.
of them.
That makes sense too.
Yeah.
But
So,
Like
so I like
but
about
you see what
half.
I'm saying.
And it doesn't break.
Let's
Yeah.
look about
I have a lot
half
of those videos that
GMO.
pop
But yeah,
But the people that are
I
GMO
agree.
free think that they think that
They're idiots.
that the government is doing some kind of
Sorry.
genetic science
not.
experiment
Yeah.
where they're splitting DNA, and that's
That's-
not what genetically modified
Yeah.
is.
I stopped
This
buying.
is similar to that. People are thinking because it's an open session,
Yeah.
they are getting everything out in the open. Everything has to
No.
come out in the open anyway.
Yeah.
Even behind closed doors.
Yeah, it still will.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's
That's
but
my
you
point.
you brought that up, and I was gonna say that's why I don't eat Subway chicken anymore, because they had that big push of our chicken is antibiotic free, and I was like,
Yeah.
you don't treat your chickens for things that can be cured with antibiotics?
Yeah, antibiotics.
That's horrible.
For farm animals. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
If you know anything about agriculture,
You were-
Yeah.
that is
So they were very sick, and
Yeah.
that is when you.
Yeah, every
them out.
time I see anything
my
advertised as like GMO free, I'm just like, I hate you.
Well, and like antibiotics, like they have to test for, like they can't just give animals hormones and then they
Right.
get butchered next week.
Yeah.
Like there's a process. If you
Yeah.
know the farming industry and you know the ranching industry, you know that. And so as soon as Subway, Courtney could probably attest.
Tyson Chicken
I saw
was
it
doing
pop
that
up.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw it pop up and it was like our chicken are antibiotic and hormone free, and I was like, well, you had a good run.
That means they're getting
Yeah.
cheaper. That means they're getting cheaper chicken from people who don't regulate.
who just
And-
let their animals live, and
they
as long
just
as they
wanted to
live, they get
throw a
butchered.
tag on it that
Yep.
sounds healthy.
I think
and
it
it's
had been
not
like
true.
5 years since we had been to a Subway.
Way off topic, but
Yes.
that's the idea.
Exactly.
Like what you're saying is 100% that she's trying to get it. Sounds like she's trying to get it advertised as I'm being transparent. When that's not
what
that's
she's
not
doing.
what's actually going
Yep.
on. And
Yeah.
if you're not paying attention and you don't know that,
And but that's the thing. Here's the thing with the Einstein files, I will say, is you have to remove your political biases because it is both sides.
Yep.
I agree.
Back off your political bias long enough to recognize it is both sides.
Look at it at an individual basis.
Get over your politics long enough to realize that it is both. And I'm stressing that because it is. And you can make one side more, one side less. We're not here to get into the minute details, and that's a fun conversation. If you want to get into that conversation, because like Mike and I have gone into conversations about it a few times.
Well, and the conspircy theory we had is there is no sides.
Right. There's no
Sides are not-
sides.
It's an
No.
illusion.
There's
The
just
sides
this
are an
psychological,
illusion.
psychological act of like tribalism and
Yeah.
being pulled
Yeah.
into identifying with one side or the other. Yep. That's what it is.
So this is totally random, but you sent me the thing that Trump had put out or whatever that had the Obamas as a monkey.
Yeah.
Have you looked into that any further?
Yes.
What?
So it looked like either Trump or a staffer screen recorded something too long and the next video started, intentional or not.
Yeah.
And the next video started, and the next video was politicians as animals, and the first two animals were the Obamas as monkeys.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So the news media reporting it cut it off directly after that. In the tweet, it continued and you saw more animals, and then it cut off. And so they cut it just a second earlier.
To be like,
and so
what was that?
So two things. First thing, the first response was they doubled down, and they should have been like, yeah, our bad. We accidentally allowed a clip to go long. Whatever. And then eventually they did have that response. And the second thing is, one or the other of, you're the president. If you're not running your own profile, your staffers need to be better than this. If you are running your own profile, like, because the possibility now, and again, intentional or not, I'm not trying to say it was or it wasn't. I'm saying as the president, as the office of president, you have to be better than that.
Yeah.
What were the other presidents? What were the other animals?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I want to say the Clintons were there and they were like ostriches.
One was a zebra. One was a.
Yeah.
The rest of them were pretty random. Donald Trump was the lion.
Yeah. It was like
yeah.
It was
say.
dumb. And frankly, like, two things. Like, okay, look,
I mean,
It's just some really low hanging fruit.
It was awful.
it seemed really
Monkey.
dumb, but also, yeah, that was good. But also, like, and again, if Trump is or is not running his own social media, if he is, you're the president, dude. You got to be better than that. You how did you not catch that? If you're not, and it's staffers, if it's just staffers. God, like, you gotta, you gotta be better than that.
You didn't mention it, but like the rest of the video was it's Trump's MO right now to put out videos and support videos and share videos that are the 2020 election was rigged, that angle, and that's what the video was, and it's a fairly long video of this guy talking about how it was rigged and how he knows it's rigged, and Trump's account shared that. Well, at the very end is this short little clip, and right away it shows, like I said, it shows the Obamas as gorillas. And it's, bad. Watch the whole video before you share it. That was my first thought. Is I don't think
most likely they didn't even watch it.
I was like, whoever shared it, watched the video and was like, oh, this is right on track of what we're trying to get our point across on X, and shared it without watching the whole video. Because they took it down, and then whoever is running that account reposted it. It got posted twice, and they had to take it down twice.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It was weird. It was a bad.
Yeah.
Bad all the way around.
At worst, it was a horrible joke.
Yeah.
At best, you're the president. You got to be better.
Keep track of your
And that's one of the things. And we're kind of going into more of the political stuff, but that's always been something I've been critical of. Is like, as the president, level, you got to be cleaner.
As somebody who works in a school, if I share a clip, I watch the whole clip and I make sure, because if I share something and it's got something like that in that. I could lose my job, easily lose my job just for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I would be called in front of a board. I would lose my job.
As pastors, same
and
thing.
and like Tanner says, you're the president. Come on, man.
Yep.
Or you're the staffer for the president or whoever.
Yeah, if you're the staffer, I would say even more so. You're a staffer for the president. Yeah. You represent somebody.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Politics. Yeah. The second thing that's that's a conspiracy theory related to the Einstein files, and then we'll get into the episode. Is and the episode will probably, I didn't find a ton on the content of the episode, so Mike's gonna have to lead this. But so the other thing is, did you see that there's a possibility that we could possibly confirm, and maybe not confirm, but it almost appears as though it is confirmed that Fortnite might have proven that Einstein didn't unalive himself.
Fortnite as in like an account?
Have you seen that?
Like what?
I think so. Yeah.
So Einstein, and if you haven't caught it yet,
we're not talking about.
Yeah. Jeffrey Einstein. So Einstein,
Oh wait, I know it. Okay.
So he had an email account that all of these emails are taken from. It's that email. It's the same email. As was associated with his Fortnite account. And there were purchases and things made after his unaliving event. And it seems like
somebody's still playing Fortnite.
Either a hacker or something like that, or somebody's still playing Fortnite on Einstein's...
Now, I didn't look any farther into this. I don't know if there was any farther to look into this, but I saw...
There's actually quite a bit.
I saw somebody post a picture of a dude that somewhat at least, resembled him with security. I can't remember where it even was at or anything like that, or if they even posted that, but like spotted somebody that they thought was like, well, that's interesting.
Shortly after his unaliving, somebody who went out to the island caught a picture of somebody that looks a lot like him. And then more recently, I think it was in, I'll just say Israel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Didn't they traced
I think that's
where that picture was.
I think
You have to be careful saying that word now because that word for some
capital.
reason is one of the shadow bands.
I just would like to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that someone of that status and wealth and age was playing Fortnite.
Oh, I heard he had a World of Warcraft account too.
Okay, wait,
Yes,
I
he
saw
did.
that.
Okay, but
He did.
Time out. Think about what dude was into and what the files are about.
Oh yeah.
well, I wouldn't have been surprised to see a Roblox account, but Fortnite.
Where would you lure kids?
That's
from?
Fortnite. Fortnite isn't.
Roblox is terrible.
Just a few years
Roblox
ago,
is so
they
bad. Fortnite's
arrested
bad too.
they arrested a guy
Fortnite
in
is
Oregon who was trying to groom kids
Fortnite's
in
bad.
Alliance. He was grooming kids in Alliance on Fortnite.
Yeah.
And they arrested him, and he was in Oregon, but he was trying to groom like the teenage kids in Alliance.
Is there there like
It's-
VoIP in Fortnite?
Yeah.
So you
How do
can
you- I don't.
you can create creator mode games and stuff like that, and you can just jump into random rooms with random people.
yeah.
Okay. See, okay.
It's not just.
You have to forgive me.
Fortnite isn't just
My
the
image of-
Fortnite game.
My image of Fortnite is still like 2018 Fortnite.
I mean, even in 2018, they were starting the creator stuff. Like this
they?
has been around for a while, but now it's so big that, and especially as people,
So I
leave,
wasn't aware.
There's so much to
as
it.
people leave
that.
Roblox, Fortnite has started to get worse. And like, yeah, it's bad.
It's the natural progression of if you just need so many.
Yep.
I guess that
guardrails
makes
and
sense. I just
everything
wasn't
else.
aware of it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Well, and another thing is thinking about how many people Einstein had on document. Like we said, we're not even halfway out.
When
We
did
have
he
a laundry
allegedly?
list?
What year was that?
2019 or something like that. I don't remember.
Okay.
So imagine all of these people. These are all people that would be willing to try to get you out in order to to protect their name. And secondary. So in the files, apparently a security guard that was working there has a deposition that he had reported that it looked like Einstein was wheeled out in a wheelchair half an hour before his unaliving event into a van and left the facility.
And
This is in the Einstein
a new
files.
theory that he didn't unalive himself. Like this,
Right,
that was the
right.
theory.
No,
the
that's
day
been
it
a theory the whole
happened, was, yeah.
But apparently an actual security guard is on record saying that he remembers Einstein being wheeled out in a wheelchair and loaded into a van and then left the facility shortly before his unaliving event.
Yeah.
This is official. This is in the files. So, but anyway. So, also figured out we did the big old huge episode. If you want to go back, you can listen to it on the Maxwell family.
Maybe he's hiding out in an underground.
That's
city.
what I was about to say. You stole my transition. You piece of crap.
I beat him to it. Yeah.
Hold that thunder real quick. I
Okay,
just wanted to share because we had that.
See, I was trying to be polite and wait, and you just took
I
it.
thinking, and I had to steal it.
We had a whole episode on the Maxwell family. Ghislaine Maxwell
What am I even here for?
is Einstein's associate. You should go listen to that. There's a lot of crazy things in there, but we actually found some more stuff out that I've been talking to Courtney that we might release again on maybe a part 2 of the Maxwell family. But Ghislaine Maxwell's still alive.
Maybe she's hiding out in an underground city.
Why? Like we have the person in custody who is literally like the
brain.
partner of Einstein. Like it's not like all this. Anyway, it's right there. Anyway,
Mike's comment
Mike's
on
transition.
the group chat was unfortunately very accurate. I think. I don't think much is going to happen. to anybody.
Yeah.
Is in all of that.
Yeah.
Although other
And if
countries
you're
are
not
starting
in the
to.
group chat, that's something that I mentioned was like there's so many names and so many people and nothing is
Being done.
it's everybody discussing and fighting over it and nothing is being done anyway. So why do we care about
so
it? At this
yeah,
point, you know?
and so I've seen a lot of posts of like, you're not angry enough. I'm like, oh, I'm angry enough,
right.
but what am I supposed to do about it? Sitting here in
Yeah.
the Panhandle of Nebraska, I'm not taking 3 days off of work to personally go to Washington to stand in front of Congress and be like, you gotta do something about this. What is that gonna do?
Yeah.
And even if I did do that, I mean, how many people would it require for that to be effective? And how do you organize that?
I think things like this are important. I think having the conversations,
Agreed.
making sure people are aware is all we really can do.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, every name that I've heard about in that list, I don't want to support their stuff anymore. It makes me sick to my stomach to even think about supporting them anymore.
Right.
And so
But
hopefully,
once again, I see a lot of people listing off names who, when I look it up, were not in there.
and that's where
And
it's
so-
worth
Go do your own
yeah,
research.
doing your own
You
research.
go find out who you need to be wary of.
and places
You don't have to dig into the
or talk to somebody you trust that
nitty-gritty
has
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, talk to somebody you trust that actually has looked into this if you want to save yourself from it, because it is dark, and I don't advise going and looking
And
because
it's
it is dark.
exhausting.
It's
Yeah,
dark. It's
just-
exhausting.
yeah.
Find someone you trust that you know
It's hard
probably
on your
has.
soul.
If you trust us, reach out to me. I'll let you know
Yeah.
like what I found.
Come on the Discord.
So yeah, talk. We can have those conversations. But I would like to transition now because I don't want to end on that. I would like to talk about something fun today.
Okay.
And Mike transitioned us already.
Is this fun or is this?
Oh, this was actually you're gonna dig this.
Yes. Okay.
Mike's on it today.
I am. I'm on
and it's
it.
kind of like
It's my triple stem C4 that's doing it. I'm telling you.
Caffeine.
Anyway, so yeah, we decided to talk about underground cities, and there's like this like collection of underground cities in Turkey. And so I started my dig just kind of looking through stuff, and I found this little this little town called
I'm not going to give him to him anymore.
Derinkuyu. In Derinkuyu,
have
back in the
Derinkuyu.
1960s, there was this guy, and he was renovating his house, and he was a farmer, and he started, tearing down some walls and stuff, and he noticed his chickens kept disappearing. And he couldn't figure out what was happening to his chickens, and so he's thinking maybe his chickens are just hiding behind this wall, and because there was a little crack in this wall, he's thinking his chickens are going behind there, but he can't hear them, and they never come back out. And so he tears down the wall, and there's an entrance to a room behind this wall. And so he goes down in this room, and from this room there are
Back
little
rooms.
tunnels and things like that come out of the back of this room,
Back rooms.
right?
Yeah.
And so he calls the local authorities. They bring in a bunch of archaeologists and stuff, and they start going down these tunnels and exploring and things, and they found like room after room after room. They kept finding things, and by the time they were done looking at all the tunnels that existed, there were stables down there were living quarters, and it was pretty much an entire city.
Schools.
Yeah, there were schools, churches,
Wine presses.
all this stuff underneath the ground that they didn't know was there. And so they started doing some research and reading and things like that. And apparently this place, it's been there for a while. Like,
Could be
third and
as
fourth century Christians live there.
Well,
even further back.
When
than
you
that.
Yeah,
said
it
wine
was the
presses,
same.
I was like,
there
It goes
were
way back.
wow.
it existed
Nobody
up to
knows when they built it. That's how
it could
old
be.
these
It could be
cities
up
are.
to like 700 BC, but then but people lived in it up to even post Christian because there were churches in it, quote unquote, but they could have been just turned into churches.
Yeah. Well, and just because there were so many small groups that were being oppressed and being hunted down and things, it was a good place to hide. Because up on top, it looks like it's a small village.
Yeah.
It looks like a small village with 200-300 people in it. And down below, they said up to 20,000 people could live in this city that was underneath. It goes 18 stories deep.
Jeez.
Crazy, like 275 feet
That's
down.
significant.
Yeah. So they started looking into it, and there's another town about 5 miles away.
Wait, So I want to finish
go ahead.
the Darren Kuyu. So one of the craziest things about it is that it goes down 18 floors, right? Mm-hmm. You would think air would be an issue, right? The air shafts are so precise that oxygen circulates evenly from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, the way it's built.
This
That's
wasn't
some
just
impressive architecture.
This wasn't random. Just we're gonna dig a hole. Oh, we got another family. Let's dig another hole. It's like precise.
It was like organized.
building.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And there were anyway. Okay, so now
So anyway, they find this tunnel that just it seems to like go for a ways, and so they start messing this tunnel, and part of it was collapsed, and so they dug part of it out and they started looking, and it goes back about 5 miles, and they found another city 5 miles away that connects underground.
Oh my gosh.
5 miles away. It's almost identical to this one. Same air shaft, same build, same structure. This one goes a little deeper. So they're doing this. So they start this kind of excavation thing around the area to see if they can find more of these. And then about 27 miles north of Darinkuyu, they find another one. So, and this is down the road. This is several years down the road. Now they have some ground penetrating radar type things where they can start looking at what's down there. And so they wanted to get an idea of what's down there before they start digging. This one is 30 times bigger.
Oh my god.
30?
30 times bigger than the one in Darinkuyu. Right?
Whoa.
This thing's big, and this one has self-defense stuff. They have a room where they would boil. They figured they boil oil, and then they have holes that run all the way down. So if like enemies get in, they just dump it in the hole, and it just
like
pours on
medieval style
everybody.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
In the holes.
I have a question.
It's crazy.
What is the architecture in terms of like a material? Is this all just carved out of the rock?
Yes,
carved in
and it's lava
volcanic
rock.
lava
Yeah,
rock.
volcanic lava rock. So it's pretty easy to dig through.
Okay.
So were there already like lava tunnels and then they just like
this is kind of
stuff?
Doesn't
I
sound
don't
like
know.
kind of like what it looks
It's
like
lava rock.
in a.
Maybe started with that, yeah. But
So they dug in and then would just dig across.
Because that's like a massive
Dude, that's
amount of work.
crazy.
and it's huge. Like I said, the depth of it, not even the width of it, like the depth of it. is
18
even
Right.
even with it being relatively easy to dig through, I would think that would be a concern for like structural integrity for that kind of
Yeah.
layering.
Yeah.
B,
Thousands of years later, apparently it's
well,
not.
that's apparently, I mean, but that's like just, my brain is just going like, okay,
Well, I think now that
how?
you say that too, like the one they found that was 27 miles away, it was a farmer who was watering his fields, and the water kept disappearing, couldn't figure out where it was going,
gosh,
and then
dude.
it like collapsed into one of the rooms, and so I'm sure
Here's
there
what
was
it
some
actually, like,
collapse and some
actual-
tear and stuff.
picture from inside. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, but just imagine if you've ever
gosh.
been to like the Black Hills and you go in the caves and they do the thing where they turn off all the lights.
Yes.
That is insane to me to think that that's where you would live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
have
my
school.
my
270
overworlder
feet
brain
school.
can't.
Yeah,
Go to
I mean,
school.
Yeah, and just
So-
live down there is insane to me.
Vitamin D deficiency go crazy.
One fun area thought process is we talked about the Göbekli Tepe on here. The same vicinity.
Same place.
Could have been the same builders.
Right.
So now we're starting to talk, could have been biblical like flood times.
Yeah.
And so some people theorize that this was one of the ways in which the Nephilim tried to survive the floods, was they built their cities underground and then sealed them so that they could live underground. And then eventually, theory is that obviously they're not, I mean, eventually I think you would run out of
Oxygen runs
oxygen
out,
at
yeah.
that
Yeah.
point. And then, so then they would still pass away. But then after that, people found them and then habitated them on their own.
Yeah.
But that would explain why the technology of it, why the air works so well. Like
Yeah.
you're thinking like, who is,
There's no
like,
way to
who
test
does
that. You like
Right.
you don't have the like, regardless of if you understand like aerodynamics and like theory thermodynamics, like even if you understand all of that, like there's no real way to test for optimization of the architecture for that. And people are going to sit there and be like, oh well, people did figure that out. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. I don't trust. I don't believe you.
If you're wrong,
18
you would
stories?
get the bends, right?
Yeah, like if you went too far down.
Yeah.
and try to come up too fast.
Yeah,
and stuff.
if the pressure wasn't right.
I would
I don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Because like I remember watching like Oak
18
Island,
stories
and when they
down is far.
even like because it's not just something that you get going underwater. Because it's like it's just dropping down
It's
that
just the
far
change of
underground
atmosphere.
that quickly.
Pressure. Yeah.
and
on
then
your
if the
body.
pressure, yeah.
Also, one thing is it housed 20,000 people, but also the food to feed those 20,000 people,
Yeah.
livestock,
Yeah.
the water,
And people think the Ark was like
the systems
they
in
don't
place.
know.
like not.
They don't know for sure that it only goes down 18 stories. 18
That's
stories
what
is
they've
as far
uncovered.
as they have uncovered so far.
Yeah.
So they theorize it could keep going.
Yeah.
And they don't know how far down it actually
like,
goes.
You will just never convince me that people had the technological ability to like make that all work on their own with no assistance. Like you just can't convince me of that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You call me an idiot, you say I'm stupid and don't understand science. I don't care.
So
I do not care.
The biggest theory on it is that I didn't want to say it. I was hoping Mike would say it. The
I might still say it.
Phrygians, Phrygians, Phrygyians, were the initial builders. That's the theorized builders, and that would have been 1200 BC to 800 BC ish, and then it was eventually expanded by Christians, who then built the churches and stuff like that within the location. But the thing about the Phrygians is that they only had hand tools.
Yeah.
So they'd have had to dig out from the volcanic rock and everything with just basic.
Well, and
hand
the
tools.
scientists that I was
Iron Age
the
hand
stuff I
tools.
looked at, they said you could dig this out with like shovels and pickaxes because the volcanic rock
Okay.
is very easy to carve
It's
into.
chippable,
I was
right?
wondering
Yeah,
Little-
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
or if that was like a
So you didn't really
SLAVE kind
need
of
very
thing.
complicated tools to do it. It's the science behind how it's built,
Right.
That
Yeah,
blows
yeah,
people's
yeah,
minds.
yeah.
You know?
Still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all aspects
so
of it just boggle my
They
mind.
they think that Christians might have expanded it during the Roman persecution era in order to hide and survive and to keep things keep
There's
documents
lots of
clean and stuff
theories.
like that.
I got a cool one for you.
There's a ton of theories.
So the Göbekli Tepe thing, with the vulture rock, and we've talked about that before, the vulture stone, and how it's, and this was before I joined the show, you guys talked about it, but they think it's astrological and that it's a timestamp based on where the stars were at. And the timestamp, according to if those are what they were looking at in the sky, those animals were zodiac signs. That has only happened 3 times in the history of what we know in humanity. And it's every 6,000 years that happens. And so they think maybe it was a timestamp. And they said about 10,000 years would have been like a world ending, like ice age type event with meteors and things like that. Meteors that led to tsunamis, floods, and an ice age. And I was like, So, are you familiar with the religion of Zoroastrianism?
Sounds demonic.
Does it?
I'm just kidding.
Because
I have
the
no clue.
Abrahamic religions are all based on Zoro, according to historians, based on
Wow.
Zoroaster.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they are. I'm sure.
So,
I totally believe that.
anyway, so this religion is the oldest known religion in the world, according to these historians I was listening to.
Right.
Oldest
Like I said, I totally believe them.
Probably
oldest
according to my religions professor too.
I totally believe them.
But there are a lot of parallels to it and the Old Testament Bible and things like that. And so in there is a story of a man named Yuma. All right, and Yuma got a message from God, and God told him that he was tired of the evil in the world and was going to destroy the world, and that Yuma needed to build a underground city to protect the world from the ice age that he was going to freeze the entire world and restart the world. And so he needed to bring the city. He needed 2,000 couples to inhabit the cities and to bring every kind of animal he could find into the stables. So there's a theory that is the society that built them, and they are the ones who created the stones in Göbekli Tepe.
Did you hear me compare it to the
What was the name
earlier?
of this? I'm going to look up real quick.
And there are historians.
What was the name of this?
I didn't want to say it, but there
religion?
are historians who say that the story of Noah is actually the same story. They just changed the event.
Yeah,
that happened.
You know how like once in a while you'll see a movie and you're like,
I've seen
that's
this
the same
before.
movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
White House down and Olympus has fallen.
Right.
And like there's a new remake with the other Sprouse twin, whichever one it is, and who's the other guy that's in that? It's a remake of Two Guns with Denzel and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
like it just happens once in a while. It's like it's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right. So my mind went to, well, maybe there has been more than one, humanity ending event, or maybe it's the same event, two different prophets.
Okay.
Written in two different books.
I
don't know.
Can I fun fact
Yes.
real quick?
Go for it.
So apparently the ancient letters were found, the oldest ones of this religion are only dated to 313 CE. So how do they know that I guess my question is, how did they come to the conclusion that it's the oldest religion?
I didn't ask.
Because that's not even, that date doesn't even predate Christianity at that point. 313 we have documents that date older than that from Jesus.
I would like to throw out a very
interesting.
short,
That is
fun,
really intriguing.
fun idea that's based on assuming Mike's thing is correct. Okay, remember, Tanner, how we were talking about somebody commented about after reading the list how, God maybe was justified with the flood, and how somebody commented,
Testament.
he promised he'd never flood it again. He didn't say nothing about fire, or the next one will be with fire or something like that.
I've found that, but there's no documents.
Right.
Imagine
They're theorizing that it's
flood, ice, fire. Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing.
That is, and that does tie in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, what I'm seeing is the same thing as you.
Right.
That they're saying that it potentially could be 4,000 years old, but the earliest manuscripts that they've
passed
found
down orally.
Right. And so I guess my question is, so why do we, and because I have to, because I'm a pastor and I do this. So we can say that they passed down those orally for 3,000 years.
Right.
Okay. Why do we not give the same credit to Old Testament stuff being passed down and saying that, well, we can't trust it because it was passed down orally, but all of a sudden we give credit to these older religions.
Right.
That
I would
You know what I
devil's
mean?
advocate and say we give more credit to Christianity passing down.
who is
we?
we?
Zorro.
Who is we?
Exactly.
Are we the Christians or are we the historians?
That's a good question.
Because that's a very different answer. We as Christians give benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I would, you could, now devil's advocate, you could say as a Christian, why do I give so much benefit of the doubt to our whole oral history versus that oral history? That's a great question.
Yeah.
However, I would say, but my question is to historians, that is one of the biggest arguments I have always had with historians. And that's why immediately
again,
I looked up.
Yep.
That's why do you think I knew what to look up?
Let me just devil advocate again.
Okay.
Back on your devil advocate. And I don't believe this one way or the other because I hadn't really had time to think about it. But devil's advocate on that is that Christianity, at least my experience with Christianity, going to church, things like that, is the belief that everything in the Old Testament is true to the letter. And I don't think even historians don't think Zoroastrianism is blah, blah, blah. is true to the letter. They're just saying that this is a culture that existed and a culture that was around. They don't do that. They do the same thing with Judaism. They do the same thing with Christianity. They were a real culture that had real beliefs. Whether everything written in the Bible is 100% factual truth, that's where the historians, but I don't think they believe everything in Zohar in this other religion are 100% either. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's
just, like I said,
yeah,
devil's advocate. I'm not trying to be difficult. But
so two things. One thing I would say is archaeological discoveries have only confirmed biblical history. But you could make the argument that this underground city would historically, this is this place. The second pushback that I would then return is going back to the reason I knew what to look up was because I hear that kind of thing all the time in debate, and because I debate religious stuff, I think that I find enjoyment and I learn a lot out of debate.
Right.
And so the pushback against what you just brought up was, but that's the problem though, is that historians so often disregard what is taught and what is been passed down in the Bible like that. Unless they happen to be Christian, or they happen to be Jewish, or they happen to be not even just those two Abrahamic religions. If they happen to be that, then they give credit. But if they aren't, they immediately discredit it. And in the same breath, will give credit to these other ones that were passed down the same way,
or withhold from discrediting.
My criticism wasn't necessarily you have to treat the Bible as true and that religion as false. My criticism was you can't say that it's the oldest religion.
You have to give it the same treatment.
When the proof text
even playing field
isn't even before Jesus.
The rules apply.
And we have documents from before Jesus. And so if you're going to rely on what you have and say then before that oral history, then you have to give same credit to the Abrahamic religions because they have that documentation. They also have the oral history, and we actually know the oral history, how things were passed down.
Right.
Whereas with this religion, I guarantee you, we don't know for sure if there was the same precision dedicated to the oral history. Within Christianity, within Judaism, we know the oral history was, if they even made a single mistake on a word, they had to start all over rememorizing it because they weren't allowed to make mistakes. And there were oral historians who their job, their entire life was dedicated to perfect oral history passed down.
Right.
And so we don't know this necessarily about this religion. And so we're going to give them benefit of the doubt. And I would say give them benefit of the doubt, say their oral historians did the same thing. But then we're going to discredit Christianity because we don't like that one.
Right.
And that's what I get my knickers in a bunch over. Right. Like, I don't know if that's the right term.
That case.
So my frustration wasn't necessarily that it's not old and it's not an old religion, or that it might be the oldest, but they're making that claim on information that isn't even dated close to as far back as other religions. I mean, even within other non-Abrahamic religions.
It's based on a person, though. You know that, right?
What?
Zoroaster is a person.
Okay.
Right? And the religion is based on him.
Okay.
And he lived way before any of that other stuff. So, and now, again, whether he was a real person or not, I don't know.
Right.
And so, that, you know, and I'm not up for a debate on, you know what I mean? This is like me trying to play baseball against.
This is some.
Oh yeah, no.
Happen.
I know.
You know.
Yeah,
but
I know. You're playing devil's advocate, and this is good. This is good.
Right.
I like this.
My point is that they're saying that this.
Did I get too heated?
These underground cities.
I've just been trying to say something for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
sorry. It's kind of moot now.
Underground cities were built by this culture. Is what I'm saying. Is the historians built by this culture, and it was way predates any written history of the land. They don't even know this existed until they accidentally found it, and then they're trying to figure out where it came from. And this is just a theory because it's one of the oldest cultures and religions that lived in the area. Maybe that's where they were going with it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So yeah.
What were you guys trying to say? Sorry.
I don't even know if it's relevant. It's just, I don't know. I was just going to mention my comparative religions class and how my professor, we spent 2 weeks discrediting the fallacies in Genesis. And did you know that there's 2 creation stories? And this is how this is ridiculous. And here's the date back to this. And Islam's actually the oldest religion and this. And then we would go through and we looked at Hinduism, we looked at Buddhism, we looked at Islam quite a lot. We looked at some other little fringe and like tribal religions and stuff, but we didn't take 2 weeks to break down any of the fallacies of those religions. And just the, like, why the need and the pull to discredit specifically Christianity and Judaism, but we didn't have to deep down, like we didn't have to examine those texts or like look into just how oral history is not reliable or, you know, when those records would have started. But Islam is definitely the oldest religion.
Well, and
that in and of itself gives it validity.
Did he actually say that in that class?
That Islam's the oldest religion. Oh yeah,
that's wild.
That was one of the main.
Muhammad has 0 proof texts. There's no proof that he even existed.
Well, Islam was born.
That's wild that he made that statement.
2 sons in the Old Testament who split off. One went one way, one went the other way.
That is a wild.
What is it?
I'm sorry,
Ishmael or
you
whatever.
could probably even agree with my sentiment on that. That's a wild.
I know.
Wow.
So here's a theory.
Okay, sorry. I get heated.
There is
I know.
Defense.
There is more Christian text than any other religion.
Yeah,
there's
like
more,
by thousands.
more historical, more
Strawberry.
You know, there's more strawberry. No, I don't know what.
He was timing when I tasted the strawberry after my drink.
Because Tanner just took a drink.
Sugar. And he was actually spot on.
There's so much text that I don't know if it's a need to disprove or if it is there's so much to look at that I can speak on this. Whereas if I'm trying to disagree with you on something that there's not a whole lot of information on, I don't have a whole lot to bring up. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I don't have a lot to argue about because there's nothing to look at.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But I agree 100%. Like it is very, people jump on that all the time.
They make their sentiments very clear.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
What's that one guy that got in the debate, the Anunnaki guy? What was his name? And he got into a debate with, my brain is blanking names.
Strawberry.
I didn't take a drink yet. Oh my gosh. It was a debate and my brain is not that dude that we now all of a sudden love. He even went on the Joe Rogan show and was debating the defense of Christianity. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to know it. As soon as I say it, you're going to be like, oh,
Steve.
I'm terrible with names.
Ronald.
Bob. Was it Bob? I don't think it was Bob.
Maxwell. No.
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 Even Richard, my brain went to Nixon. And so, I don't know.
Todd? Is it Todd? Give him a ball.
okay, you guys can keep talking.
lame.
You don't have to just wait for me.
It's more fun to sit and wait for you.
I don't want to.
Because I know I got
I don't have a
You gotta edit it
trail to
anyway.
go off of.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to cut off your point. You were
So his
going
underground
somewhere
cities. So
with
when I
this.
started thinking about these underground cities, I actually came across a few different kinds of like underground stuff too. You know, like in America during the Cold War, there's all kinds of underground stuff in America.
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with. It's not like ancient or even like.
And none of it's.
I
Like
don't think it's
hidden or
big,
anything.
but
Yeah,
like,
it's not
have you
secret
have you come
but
across
it's
any of the videos of like young people like exploring this stuff, like just like in like random underground cities and like abandoned like malls and stuff like that, and like so it kind of feels like Appalachia. Right? Like the way that people talk about it, like if you stop seeing graffiti, you need to leave. Like you need to turn around because that means people are there. That means that is inhabited. And it's probably not people you want to run into. And it's just like, what exists down there? What do we like? And like, it's just allowed. Like we don't care.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Or like the big entrances to like NORAD looking, where it's just like, I don't know if it's like a quarry or what, but
like
it's just
salt
like
mines.
Salt mines. That's what it is. I even see that, and that boggles my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Even with modern technology and stuff, it's just something that I haven't seen a whole lot of, and so
Or like
it didn't exist in my brain until I saw it. You know,
the mine next to
Where?
It's in South Dakota. It's in Black
Lead.
Hills. Lead.
Yeah.
The gold mine.
hole.
If you don't know it's there, but you look at like a map, it's like the size of the town. It's just
Wow.
a giant hole in the mountain.
Yep.
Okay, so back to where I was saying
The debater dude.
Billy Carson
Oh,
and
So
Wes
close.
Huff debating. Billy Carson was the pro Anunnaki, and he was listing all these things of text and proof and whatever. And then Wes Huff is like, just destroys him into non-existence.
we listened to that on the way back from Salt last year.
Just Wesley Huff just destroyed him, and
Don't debate
Billy
Wes
Carson
Huff.
just didn't have any defense.
Yeah.
Because the things he was bringing up, Wes Huff was like, yeah, that was disproven. It was created at this point. It's dated to this point.
By the way, I have
Why
the
are you
entire Bible
quoting
in
it as being
papyrus
older than it is? You know?
in my home.
But what?
I said, by the way, I have the entire
Yeah,
Bible
I have
on
that.
papyrus
Yeah,
in my home.
Or he'd be like, oh, you're talking about this document?
in
Oh,
papyrus,
here, let
that
me
was like
grab
the
it.
font.
This book that you're talking about, this book you quoted, page 407. Yeah,
the
I see-
original copy,
here's
by
the
the way.
quote. And it doesn't say what you said it says. Yeah, Wes Huff just destroyed
Don't
it.
debate that man.
But yeah, it is. And to your point, and part of what I brought that up for was you do see that, and you see, but a lot of people will present it as though like, I know this is fact because I found out on this one random, post on Facebook that this is a fact.
That's a Reddit
so
kind of
therefore,
place.
this is a fact.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that with a lot of this stuff, but
Yeah.
the underground cities and stuff. But like, okay, so think about what. Let's say there's another world like catastrophe and the United States is now a shell of what it was. And there's only like, a few thousand people that live here.
Sounds like my book.
And 2000, it does. By the way, go listen to her short story on her website
Listen.
or read. Yeah, you do need to do an audiobook. That'd be good.
Oh, goodness.
You should do that.
Oh, my gosh.
But anyway, read.
It costs a lot of money.
Listen, go read her book. But like, let's say 2,000 years go by, and then all of a sudden somebody stumbles upon NORAD. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't even really know what is in NORAD, but we know that there's enough there that they can house like all of the government for like 100 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they found it all of a sudden, and you'd be like, huh.
Wait, imagine they come across the Smithsonian at post
Oh gosh.
like people. And
Yeah.
they get discovered because here's the thing, anytime there's a world-ending event in history, and this is just a theory, but anytime there's been a world, like we have tech, and it wipes out and we're back to the Stone Age, and they think, with after the flood, any tech we had before the flood,
Yeah. Because
Back
even
to the
biblically,
Stone Age.
yeah.
they had
Biblically,
tech, but we lost it all, right?
And we can theorize
But
it.
imagine like somebody finds this cave, and on the sign, this is funny letters, SMI Smithsonian, and down as they go through the, 40 stories deep into this cave, and they find all these crazy wonders and, this weird religion that worshiped these bones. And
Dude,
you know,
that'd be
they're just
really
making
cool to
stuff
be
up.
that
Isn't that crazy?
archaeologist. That'd be
Crazy
crazy.
to think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what would they think of what we look at? I saw another theory. So like
They probably just say that it was a tomb.
yeah. So here was a theory along with that.
You got that.
Probably. Here's a theory that goes, I saw somebody was talking, I can't quote who it was, but he was talking about if,
Secret society hiding all the real stuff.
world-ending event, there's only, small amount of humans left, and they come across a Tesla vehicle. And they are reverse engineering it because it's old tech and they want this tech. They might be able to figure out how the doors work. Because there's so many years and so much build on
Right.
to it to
It
get
layers.
to that level.
Yeah.
They find a cell phone and to them it's just this plastic and glass box and they don't know
Right.
what it does. They can try and reverse engineer it and they may figure out how maybe the screen works, but they have no idea how it works or what it did.
Right.
And maybe that's some of the tech that we find is
Right.
Maybe there was some crazy tech back then that we just look at it and think it's a pyramid.
Well, that's, yeah, because, our tech right now is very,
Tomb.
electric based. Yeah. It's very electronic based society right now.
Right.
At one point it was metal based and stone based and whatever based. But what about a sound based?
Yeah, because there's theories of the ancient Egyptians working with sound as a energy source.
Because we've proven now that you can do a lot with sound.
Yeah.
And even just like growing plants, changing the sound that they listen to can change the plant's growth, in theory.
It can change the chemistry in your brain.
Yeah.
The music you're listening to. Yeah.
And
Imagine
so-
somebody finds like how to utilize sound to like transform energy instead of electric current.
Yeah.
right? Or you do sound to cut and or change the molecular construction of rock.
Yeah.
Make rock
Yeah.
You said construction.
fluid.
Yes, he did.
Construction structure.
Construction, what's your junction?
That's what I was thinking.
Conjecture?
Yeah. But a lot of
It's all conjecture.
I feel like understanding sound, you guys are
Construction.
but like I think understanding sound would actually be more beneficial in building these underground cities than having, an excavator.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you have to remove all that material too. It's not just
Right.
digging a hole and making a pile. Like you have
to remove
that's a
it.
lot to remove, and it could have been over several generations. Could have been different. They don't know, like I said, because there's a lot of renovations. with
Maybe.
each group that moved in.
But what's
Maybe
they just added to
eventually.
it. I don't know.
But what's wild is the later people still had to have the same understanding, and then Phil can go. But like candles still burn at the deepest levels because the oxygen stays pure down there.
That's insane.
And temperature.
What I was going to say is
They would have to.
maybe eventually, because they haven't found the bottom per se, right? Necessarily.
As far as they know, yeah.
Maybe the bottom is open. Maybe there's a layer down there where
Inner Earth.
there's an opening, and
They were
maybe.
building up.
Well, I hadn't thought about that. I just thought like they're building
Imagine
down
if
and
this
at some
underground
point-
city was
Hairs
actually
on the
them.
back of my neck.
And then they got
No.
too high and they were like, oh crap, we're at the surface. We got to abandon this because
Well,
they're
now
gonna
that's an
find it.
idea
it's outer
too.
space.
They're
We
going to
gotta
find
go
this
back down.
eventually. Yeah.
That's an
That
idea
was their
too.
outer space.
What I was thinking of
man.
was
Balrog
they were
was tunneling out of Moria.
Man.
the dwarves dug too greedily and,
And
too
too-
shallow.
That's a
And they
weird
found
theory.
upon themselves the fire people from above.
But no, like I was just thinking of like they're just digging down, like we get to the bottom of it, like we'll hit like base rock, and all of a sudden Marcus just goes ah. He's gone.
disappeared.
It's like, oh, there's hold. Hey, this is a convenient dump spot for all our material. Like they just start dumping out the bottom
Dumping out the
instead.
bottom. Oh my god,
Goodness.
that would be
R.I.P. Marcus.
wild.
Tanner, what do you think about the catacombs, like in Paris?
La France?
There,
is
it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff. So that was part of the research
That's
I was
something I
looking
came
up.
across too, because it's not city, but it's definitely.
So I came across catacombs
City-ish.
and I started looking at the why some even American cities are buried weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I came across some things about like Seattle and like what they were doing and stuff. And there were some things that make a lot of sense. Sorry, that was me.
That was very
Yep.
nice.
So
Balrog.
when you begin when you begin to build a city, okay, this is non-conspiracy theory. This is like actually logic that I didn't know that makes a lot of sense. So when you start to build a city, okay, you have to have water. So a lot of times you have well water. So you pull the water out of the ground. So that water coming out from out of the ground now has a cavity. And as you begin to build your city bigger and bigger, and now we're building higher and higher, there's more and more weight on the ground. So now there's cavities of air that eventually start to sink down. And so then eventually it sinks down too far, and now all of a sudden all your buildings are starting to flood that never used to flood. So in Seattle, that started happening. And so they then went back and then built the higher streets, and then basically forced everybody to bring their businesses up an entire story. Jeez. So that as the buildings continue to settle, they won't have issues with the streets and that kind of stuff flooding. The flooding would be in the basements rather than on the main floors. Oh. And so because it would, as you continue to build, they continue to sink. And so there's two things here. One thing that is weird to me is, okay, so we know that our cities on the coasts are sinking. So could that be the issue and not necessarily sea levels rising? Is that our coastal cities are actually sinking because the weight of them has gotten heavier and heavier and heavier to the
And it's
point where
pulling
skyscrapers are pushing the
and
city
it's
down.
changing water underneath. Yeah, and then causing.
Okay.
okay.
Just to take a big step back in our conversation, I hadn't thought about the water situation, but the underground city Turkey, like, what's the water? Is there a water source like down there?
That's what I was like. If you're, that was a thought that I had. If
Do you think maybe it's
flood
farther
times
down?
and you dig in the earth, like how do you keep it?
well,
from
so, okay,
flooding?
that
Like,
What
actually
ancient
rains in
communities
Turkey.
like Babylon or whatever that had like waterways that ran through
Yeah.
their city like that.
it
so
might
I don't
be,
know.
like,
Could you
the
just do some form of that
hydration
underground?
system? I don't know.
I
Do you
don't
think
know.
that's
Are there,
farther
like,
down?
troughs?
If they kept digging, do you think eventually they get down? There's like a river down there. I
don't know.
Way
I mean,
underground.
under Nebraska, there's a huge
Underground
reservoir.
wells and aquifers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
They're the primary source of at least the Durin Kuyu was underground wells and aquifers.
Yeah.
It was not connected to a surface water. According, at least.
And again,
in
how do they
theory.
know?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
aquifers are down
like,
there?
yeah,
Maybe
We
they
can do
found
it today.
Maybe they found some
Was
aquifer.
that's
wells.
pretty far to dig to accidentally find something that you need.
you're already.
Oh, how
18
did the city people know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do they know there was
Right.
these aquifers underneath the cities like that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
How close are we?
Few more minutes. Okay. The second thing that I found that was very practical was when they're building a new city, because I always wondered why they just built on top of stuff. So the theory is that when something was destroyed back then, it was easier just to flatten all the rubble and then build on top of it. So two things for me. I don't understand how that's easier. That seems way
And structurally
yeah,
sound.
way less structurally sound.
Because then doesn't
But-
that shift around? You know? Yeah.
But that actually creates a situation where oftentimes when they build like a church, they could go into the basement and excavate and find remains from previous churches after they had been
Right.
burnt down in like the basements of their
I've heard
churches and
of
stuff like
that.
that.
I've heard of
it's
that stuff.
weird. And so, but eventually the cities would build higher and higher and higher. And not because necessarily like the ground is raising, but because they would just continue to build on top of the remains of everything that was destroyed before it, which is how they theorized Troy is built so high.
Yeah.
It's because they would continually get destroyed and they would have to continually build on top of it. And then, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah. And so that would naturally create these underground tunnels. But then we have places like, I guess Crawford has them too. There's apparently, somebody told me that there's, they are pretty sure that there's a tunnel that goes from the city out to the fort.
right.
That's a long tunnel. That's a couple mile tunnel.
Well, and I know in Alliance, some of the tunnels that go from building to building, if you talk to the older generations, they say it had a lot to do with because we get such nasty snowstorms.
Yeah.
And they still want to be able to get from the hospital to
Yeah, that
the
makes
school
sense.
Yeah.
and to the other thing. So they got the underground.
Because you hear
But
about that
they
on
still
college
get
campuses,
there,
including
but-
our college campus has.
Do we get that nasty of snowstorms?
And we
Not
have.
this winter.
I mean, it's not like consistent enough
not
that
consistent.
like in my brain I don't go.
No, I hear
"We
about
get
it up in
these
like
storms."
Minnesota
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah, if you
but-
think about
but
one time, like was it 1880 something, whatever year that blizzard was, the one that was like insanely bad, like
Yeah.
the one lady led the school children, like something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
One time, they're like, we're not doing that again.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a way to get place to
that could
place.
I mean,
You know?
I definitely. That's my
That's my best theory.
Most common sense answer.
Yeah.
Because there was that one time, or just a few years back, where Shadron broke the record for snowfall in the state during one meteorological winter, and it was 70 some odd inches. So, in modern times, we've had situations,
Right.
and that storm, it was bad. And we had drifts like on the road the roads were closed for like a week and like
closer to 2 weeks.
it was a
but
long time. Yeah.
It was
but even then, like I could have walked downtown if I wanted to after the storm got over. You know what I mean? Like even as bad as it was, I wasn't like, we can't go outside for a week.
it
you
just
know?
depended on where the drifts were.
And so I don't, because even those storms, the badness of them was the drifts, not the overall. It's not like it snowed 8 feet
Consistently.
but the drifts
everywhere.
were 30 feet high.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know. It's interesting to me, but with Turkey and stuff like that, it seems more of a way to transport things underground and have hiding places for people coming and stealing stuff than it does weather related.
See, and in Paris, they found stuff under the city, and so they dug mines under the city, and they were digging the limestone and stuff out from underneath the city for the supply, and it left these empty pockets.
Yeah.
And then because of revolution and wars and things like that, the number of bodies in the cemeteries were so much that they were putting bodies on top of bodies, and they were collapsing into like business basements and things, and and so they had to do something with all these bones, and so they took them down to these old cavities from where they did the mining, and they just started lining the walls with skulls and human bones to just have a place to put these bodies, and now you have these creepy, nicknamed the City of Death, and it's an underground city because it's the City of Death, but it's really an old mine that they just started sticking, human remains in. Creepy.
Yeah. Okay. And then we see let's say DIA, and they built extra lower, and you see tunnel systems and stuff like that, and you see train systems, and so now if we found a tunnel, because we have history, and there was a subway that connected, say Denver to Fort Collins.
Right.
We have the subway that's 50 miles, or how far is it? Like 40 miles, something from Denver to Fort Collins. Yeah. That's a long tunnel.
Yeah.
But we have a train system, so we have the history of knowing there was a train system.
Right.
But if we saw the purpose in having a underground train system.
Think of the subway system in New York City, if that was abandoned and somebody came across it and it was buried at some point, and
there has been cases where there's been underground in Europe where they abandoned the subway system and went for above ground rails, and the underground stuff got sold and eventually turned into storage and then eventually lost and whatever. Because there's people who investigate, have you ever heard of the underground city stuff in Chicago? It's like a whole underground city underneath the city. And so immediately my thought process goes to, even if the intentions weren't good, eventually I feel like nefarious intentions take over in those kinds of locations. And so they become creepy quick.
Right.
And then you throw in some hauntings or some, whatever weird stuff. And all of a sudden there's lore, and you got dead, the bones and stuff like that.
Bones and, everything else.
But with the one thing I would say is that the ones in Turkey seem different.
Yeah. Very unusual.
It's a network of underground cities, and that makes me want to know what. And it's not just
rooms and storage and tunnel, like cities, like a legitimate, you wouldn't have to come above
a dwelling place, like a place where people lived. A lot of people,
thousands, tens of thousands.
And that they just they weren't that. They figured that they closed those in the 1920s, rediscovered in the 1960s. In the 1960s, in 40 years, they had no idea that they were there.
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
That's what
that one took a little longer.
But you know what I mean? That's just weird. You would think it would be hundreds of years that nobody had been in these things.
Right.
But they figured, when they started looking back, it was as early as the early 1900s. There were still people, coming and going in and out of there, and they sealed them off. And,
and another thing is, why seal them off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even in the 20s, there was the need of preservation of historical things that they were uncovering, re-uncovering.
Why were they covering all that up? It's weird.
It is weird.
The whole thing is very, very strange.
It is very strange. And it's, and unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's just like the pyramids.
Yeah.
They can come up with their theories, but we just don't know.
And we can,
we don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and here's the thing too, it's all entirely volcanic rock. So there's no way to carbon date anything. There's no way to figure out how old any of it is, because even the seating structures and anything, the tables and everything else are carved out of the rock, and so there's no way to tell how old anything in there is.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy.
Trying to make sure there wasn't any other underground city things that I... Oh, yeah, the Vatican archives. Imagine if somebody came across the Vatican archives after, 1,000 years or something.
I would like to go spend a week in the Vatican archives.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
I know. It would just be interesting.
I would try to find the most
I don't know
hidden
enough language
back
though, either. Like
you would have to
would look
Google
for, like,
translate everything,
artifacts
take
and stuff,
pictures.
but,
Yeah, take pictures and translate later.
Yeah.
I would try to go find like the darkest, most hidden section and see if there was like we're trying to hide this information kind of thing. Because
it'd be interesting.
It is weird.
To see what's there.
That is something that I think would be crazy if Anyway, that is our hidden cities. The underground cities.
Underground cities.
I apologize. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to research as much. I told you guys I didn't tell the podcast, but we had.
And yet, this is
going
to be one of our longest episodes. This was a while. Fun though.
We had stuff came up on the day I was going to research, and I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of research, but that was good. And I think it's crazy. The more. I think there needs to be formal, like LiDAR, like the flying LiDAR stuff.
Yeah.
I think they need to just go over all of Turkey at this point.
Yeah.
Because they found Göbekli Tepe. There's the one, I can't remember, my brain just went blank. The other Göbekli Tepe that's right next to it, that's whatever Tepe. They've found there's underground cities, there's all this other stuff. It's like, there's so much
you think
stuff
of ancient cultures,
around
Turkey isn't one that you really... Until recently, I mean, relatively recently.
Right, yeah.
You don't think of Turkey as one of those
ancient.
Yeah,
because you think of Egypt, China, even South America.
Yeah.
You don't think of Turkey.
Yeah, even like Central America.
But Turkey might, they might have some of the oldest stuff now at this point with some of the recent finds with stuff.
Right.
But anyway, let's hear your theories. Join the Discord. Find our Patreon. Join the Patreon. There will be a free level on the Patreon, but it'll just be like notifications and stuff. But with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all of those things. And don't forget to
be your biblically accurate best.
Okay, bye.
Way too shilly. Bye.
Strawberry.
Ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?